It's only the second game of the season, but so far so good for NC State and Campbell as both schools got a win on opening night. These 1-0 in-state schools meet tonight on the ACC Network at Truck. Hello everybody, we welcome you courtside here in PNC Arena. My name is Andrew Sanders. I'm joined by Chris Corciani, and well, you never quite know how opening night is going to go, but for NC State, they passed their first test with flying colors in a 49-point win on Monday.
No question. They looked great from the very beginning to the very end. Not a whole lot that Coach Keith couldn't have been happy with.
They say you only get one shot at a first impression, and NC State played 32 games last year. Every single one of these categories you see, the Wolfpack exceeded their mark in any of those 32 games from a season ago.
It's an amazing graphic to be able to look at that and say that last year was there, and what they did in one game to exceed that. A lot of great expectations for this Wolfpack team.
And it helps when you've got a starting point guard that can play. And look, you know about good point guard play. Jarkel Joyner was tremendous against Austin Peay.
Jarkel Joyner is a true point guard. Really impressed with him. 18 points, 18 assists. But what I was really impressed with, his defense, his energy, and most important, his leadership.
One of 4 transfers for Wolfpack head coach Kevin Keats, and 3 of them grad transfers. This team a lot older than his team a season ago. As the opening tip goes to the voice of the Wolfpack, Gary Hahn.
You know, like you mentioned, they're older, they're stronger, they're deeper. This is a definite different look than last year. It was a young team. They weren't deep. They had injuries. So they got a lot to build on, especially after a good showing against Austin Peay.
Campbell starting off with the basketball. Got a win on opening night over Division II St. Aug's. Open corner 3, buried. And that's Devin Dunn. Speaking of transfers.
Yeah, Dunn knocked it down, but what happened, they got the ball in the center, and they got it where they wanted. Really good distributor out there on Calero.
So the Camels knocked down a 3 on their opening possession. Here's Terquavion Smith from the parking lot, and he missed his short. Campbell's starting 5. Ricky Clemens is the All-Big South preseason team member, but Dunn is a transfer. So is Jay Powell, who has the basketball now as he gives it up to Carolero. Lost his footing and walked.
Yeah, unfortunate get up there. He wanted to get his pivot foot set. Unfortunately for Campbell, it slid. But that's where their offense comes from. They want to get the ball to Calero in the middle. He's a great passer, very good, skilled offensively.
So a 3 and then a turnover for Campbell, and we'll see how they fare tonight. They're going to shoot a lot of 3s if they can shoot a high percentage. I'd like to stay in this game with the Wolfpack team that, again, won by 49 on Monday night. This will be a blocking foul by Gidemus Moksekis. The head man for NC State, Kevin Keats, 6th season. So he's been very good in these types of situations, non-conference home games.
Hey, it's impressive. You go 37-2, but now with the rules change, people transferring in and out, you know, it's tough. You don't get to know your team that often early on, but he does so far.
Dusan Morhicic.
Okay, he's a big body inside. You know, Coach Keats got 3 of those guys that he can go to inside, but Dusan showed his strength there.
Morhicic on his 5th school in 5 years, most recently Utah before coming over to NC State. There's the backdoor cut. Finish not there. And Dunn lost a handle, had his pocket picked by Jack Clark.
Here's where Joyner's good in transition. So here's the leadership. Just pulls it out, didn't have anything.
Both of these teams adding 4 impact transfers. So both teams, especially at this juncture this season, just looking to gel a bit. NC State has taken a couple of speculative deep 3s early on.
Deep 3s, you know, at least that 3, the shot clock was, you know, running down. You don't want to see that 3 early in the clock.
But that is what Campbell is known for under 10th-year head coach Kevin McGee. And they were the best defensive team in the Big South last year. In 22 of their 29 contests, held opponents below 70 points. So he is a coach that loves his defense. There's some defense from Jack Clark at NC State. Pull-up jumper, well short.
I would have liked to have seen Jack take that all the way to the bucket on a 2-on-2, create the action.
And there's Ricky Clemens creating a dunk for Jay Powell.
Real nice penetration and finding the cutting man. But Clemens is just a great story that I'm sure we're going to get into a little later.
There's Terquavion Smith, and his range is unlimited.
Yeah, his range, and he has a green light. A lot of players have yellow lights. Some, like me when I was playing, I had a red light. Terquavion, he can shoot it when he wants, where he wants. That's the confidence that Coach Keats has in him.
Here's another Campbell turnover. Joyner guarding the backdoor cut. T again for three. Oh, yes!
Boy, he's fearless. I mean, Andrew, he loves playing. He's fearless. But again, that was set up by Joyner. Joyner knew where his guy was, and he found Smith.
And if you're Campbell, you've got to find him in transition. He's just too good of a shooter. As you said, he loves playing. And how could you not love watching him play? He plays with such energy, and he can just shoot the lights out.
He's like a little kid, you know. He's like a 12-year-old that just loves being out there, plays with emotion. He's fierce. He's certainly a fan favorite.
They'll give Mohorčić a look inside, and he lost his footing. Jack Clark with a block down low. And a travel on Mohorčić. Both teams losing their footing a little bit here in the early going, but they're trading buckets. Terquavion Smith, he's already been busy. 2 threes here in the opening couple minutes. Going into last year's offseason, Wolfpack head coach Kevin Keats, he knew that he wanted his team to get more experience. He was going to hit the transfer portal, and he wanted his team to get older. Well, he checked that box. You see the 4 players that he brought in, all veterans, and all of them featuring heavily in the game against Austin Peay, in which the Wolfpack, they combined for 51 of NC State's 99 points.
No question. All 4 of them had big games. It's got to be exciting for these kids transferring in. They want to make an impact right away. And all 4 certainly did.
Catch and shoot for the freshman, Anthony Del Orso, the freshman from all the way in Melbourne, Australia. They really love his game. They expect he might be able to play his way into a starting spot as the season goes on. 6'6" freshman, he can shoot it.
He can shoot it. Coach McGann said he's a guy that is only going to get better. He said he's real raw, but can really shoot the basketball.
Breon pass in the game for NC State and lives up to his name there. A good bounce pass to a cutting Jack Clark who will go and shoot 2.
And I really like Breon. He was very patient in the corner, waited for the cutter to come, found him. The thing that he also does, he brings energy off the bench. And he's going to have a big role with Joyner and Smith. They're not going to be able to play the whole game. Breon's going to have to really step up and play some big minutes.
Yeah, and I asked Coach Keats about Breon pass because he does factor in, as you say, to be a key part of the rotation for NC State. That's a friendly home roll for Jack Clark.
Yeah, when you have a player like Breon, he understands his role. He accepts it. He knows he's going to get minutes every game. And it's the little things that he's going to do out there. It's on the defensive end. It's making the extra pass. And he's another leader on the court. So you're playing with 2 point guards at all times.
And a guy that, just in his sophomore season, didn't get a ton of minutes last year. But as you said, he's going to play a lot of minutes, and this is what he can do. Forces the turnover and gets the layup on the feed from Smith.
I love it. Great defensive play, and it was really nice to see Smith, unselfish, give it back, reward him for his defensive effort.
Breon Pass in high school won 3 state championships on the gridiron, where he was a two-way player, right? He could play as a DB or as a wide receiver. He looked like a defensive back right there.
He's just a great athlete, great high school career, both on the football field and on the court.
Jason Sinani now in, along with Lusain. And Campbell turning the ball over. NC State gives it right back to 6'9" Jay Powell. He got up in the air, and I think he might get bailed out here because the clock never reset.
I'll tell you, really smart play. He looked up at the clock and he saw it going down, but it should have reset. Coach Keats is over there arguing it shouldn't have. But I think it should have been reset.
And you see Coach Keats saying traveled it. That's why I thought he got bailed out, but I think you're right. I saw him just pick up his dribble, not knowing to go where the ball, but then he realized shot clock's winding down. Hey, I got to put it up.
Right, he looked up and saw that the shot clock, it should have been reset with the possession.
So, our officials tonight, Tony Henderson, A.J. Desai, and Jeremy Mosier.
Coach Keats is going to lose that argument, but he was animated over there.
Hold on, thought we were ready to play, not quite.
Right. Got it. Yep.
So the explanation there, we appreciate that. Should have been a full reset on the DJ Burns. He had possession, threw the basketball down the court. It was intercepted by Powell. It did not reset. So Campbell had 20 on the shot clock, and there's Burns with the rejection. And boy, Campbell's got to be tired of seeing this guy, right? He was at Winthrop, where he was a thorn in the side of the Camels, or perhaps the straw that broke the Camels back 2 years ago in the Big South Championship game when he dropped 22 and was MVP.
That's what Coach said before the game. Coach McGeehan said, gosh, I still can't get away from Big Burns.
There's Joshua Lusain.
I tell you, Campbell does a great job pick and roll, finding the rolling man with the bounce pass. They've scored 3 or 4 buckets off of really nice passing.
Good feed from Ravion Smith. Again, he's got a couple early assists here.
Yeah, great pass, but you've got to understand, this is a big guy, 260 pounds, full speed. His hands are amazing. To be able to make that catch, great footwork, and go with the finish is very impressive.
He's got the hands, the soft touch. He's got the footwork, too. Clemens looking to attack off the bounce.
Yeah, I don't think Coach Keats liked that whistle. It was a little bit late, but he may have got bumped on it. Here's Smith with a nice look, the catch, the gather. I mean, that's a big-time move by Burns. Clemens going in, might have got him with the hip check a little bit.
Well, you mentioned just a moment ago, we were talking about Ricky Clemens, that, hey, he's a great story, a local guy. He's listed as being from Raleigh, went to Rollsville High School, started at Campbell as a walk-on, and by the end of his sophomore season, he had earned a starting spot.
Yeah, great story. I actually had a chance to speak with him before the game, and I asked him, I said, what was that like, a walk-on, and now you're a starter? He said, all I did was work. I worked hard. Coach McGeehan said the first game that he inserted him into the starting lineup, the chemistry changed right away. He's a real leader out there, and Coach McGeehan's just thrilled to have him and rewarded him with a scholarship.
Powell first through the floor. Burns turns it over, working hard to get it back, and he does.
Oh,
Clark with the flush.
Beautiful. Great hustle on the defensive end. The nice skip pass, the Breon pass, and he finds the streaking Clark.
6 Campbell turnovers already. And they'll go to the line to shoot 2 more.
Great hustle by both teams. Burns comes up with it here. Clark. Nice cross-court pass. Again, patience to the slam. Breon Pass really has a good feel for the game. Just lets it come to him. He sees, he waits for Clark and throws it. Just a feel that you either have or you don't.
Clark will take a breather. Ernest Ross checking in for NC State. Juan Rainey at the free throw line, missing the first. This is nothing new for Campbell in the win, 79-62 over St. Augs on Monday. The Camels shot 38 free throws. They made 28 of them, but Rainey misses the pair. T again, NBA range. Why not? He's got 3 already.
I tell you, he's amazing. You know, he's not making those right on the line. He's 2 or 3 feet behind it, launching it, and hitting nothing but net.
Powell trying to take Ross off the dribble. That's well done.
That's a good drive. You got to have somebody. Joyner's got to come over there and give up his body on that one. Take a charge.
Jay Powell, after a couple of years at Jacksonville State, Turquavion again!
You're kidding me.
Oh my!
You got to be kidding me with that shot. I'll tell you, amazing.
One of the most exciting players in college basketball.
Just a little heat check there. I didn't think he was going to shoot it. He said, I made 3 in a row. That's my 4th.
The first one that he hit was his 100th for his career, an NC State record, the fastest player ever to reach the mark. And this is game just number 34 of his career. So, you know, easy math, he averages about 3 per game. He's already over his average.
It's amazing.
Tonight.
I mean, it's hard to guard. You know, there's nothing that Campbell or Coach McGinn can be upset with. I mean, he's, you know, shooting that from 27, 28 feet and shooting it with confidence.
Lucane for 3, and Campbell has knocked down 3 triples. Both teams are shooting the lights out right now.
Exactly. You know, it's not on the offensive end as far as scoring. Campbell has 6 early turnovers. That's where they need to take care of the basketball a little bit. Not a bad idea, double teaming Baby T out there.
They're going to make him give up the basketball. Joyner late in the shot clock going to work. He beats his man and scoops it in.
You know, Andrew, that's his game. He's explosive off the dribble. He can get in the lane. He can pull up. You know, he's a good outside shooter, but his game is all mid-range. Very strong and explosive.
And he exploded right by Sinani for the bucket. Clemens with an answer the other way.
Yeah, it's that Princeton offense that Campbell runs. The ball gets to the high post. You got to always look for the cutter.
NC State just turned it over on the inbound, Chris.
Yeah, I think Ernest Ross stepped over the inbound line, and you know, they're the little things that you want to see Ernest and the rest of the team get better at. You know, you can't make these mistakes in a close, tough game.
Yeah, I think Ross had already inbounded to Smith, and then Smith kind of threw him the ball back. And he was standing out of bounds. And a reach in on Ross. Energy guy for NC State now in his sophomore campaign. 14 games last year before an ankle injury ended his season early, and it was right when he was starting to get going in his freshman season.
Got a huge upside. Another nice, great inbounds pass. Clemens threaded the needle. Hey, they're scoring a lot of points off of cuts to the basket, and you know, they really share the basketball well. Yeah, getting back to Ernest
Take
Ross.
away the basket. Offensive foul.
Yeah, he's going to be real important for NC State this year because he's got a huge kind of upside, and if he can really develop his game, you know, there's minutes to be had.
Mahorcic here calling for the moving screen, as you see. So take away the triple by Joyner. Just a 2-point game. Both teams shooting 75%.
Yeah, this is fireworks early on, led by Turtavian Smith.
Yeah, both teams. Lucane and Carolero, they play together very well as post players outside the arc. Fans wanted to walk. Coach Keats wants it as well. Didn't get it. They find a spot up 3 for Clemens, and Campbell has not missed from downtown.
They ran the shot clock the whole way. There must have been 5 or 6 passes. I mean, it's just a beautiful offense. It's really tough to defend. That's why Coach Keats likes scheduling these type of games.
Another turnover. Devin Dunn got his hand in there, poked it away from Mohorcic.
Tell you, look up, Campbell's up one, but it feels like NC State, the way they're shooting, they should be up more, but Campbell, they're just hanging right in there playing tough.
Yeah, it's tough when you're shooting 75% and trailing in the game.
Yeah.
That just goes to show you, I mean, Campbell's getting open looks, they're getting layups.
I tell you, they do a good job of player movement and ball movement.
Carolero face-up game. And a rare defensive rebound to be had in this game. That's an area where, with NC State's size, and they've added some size from last year, they're a lot longer on the perimeter and, down low. Got a couple of veteran post players. You'd think they probably have the rebound advantage in this game. We just haven't seen any rebounds.
Yeah, they definitely do. Unfortunately last year, losing Manny Bates in the first couple of minutes of the game, NC State, they were very unfortunate. They didn't have many bigs. Jalen Gibson and Ebenezer Dewana, they did all they could. And this year, Coach Keats has 3 guys he can go to. That's a real true luxury.
Mohorcic will go to the line to shoot 2, and boy, he has been getting hounded so far by the Camels, but I think that play right there kind of leads you inside his mindset as a player as he took it up strong.
I tell you, Dushan, he likes contact. He's a tough guy. I mean, he's the kind of guy you don't want to see walking down the street late at night. I mean, he is a tough guy, loves contact, and that's something NC State needs. They need an enforcer, a guy that's willing to throw his body around, and, he's not going to play huge minutes. They've got a couple different guys that can share that spot, but Dushan certainly is going to bring toughness.
Mohorcic, born in Serbia, as I mentioned earlier, on his 5th school. Started at Lewis College, then Moberly area junior college, Illinois State for a year, 2 years ago, and he averaged 10 points and 7 rebounds a game for the Redbirds. And then at Utah last year, 13 appearances and 2 starts. He missed 8 games due to a knee injury last season. So he is, you played in the ACC and then you went on to play NBA in Europe. You think you're well-traveled. He's got more frequent flyer miles than you do.
No doubt, but he must love the game. When you go to 5 different schools, you must just love playing.
Sinani knocks it down.
Tell you, NC State's doing a real nice job early in defense, but they got to play the whole shot clock. Campbell's passing the ball around, using the shot clock, being very, very efficient.
Carolero bowled over, and Mohorcic with that contact, he'll be whistled for another foul. That'll be his 2nd.
I tell you, Carolero, he's a tough guy too. He and Dushan going head to head down there, and he's banging, doing all he can. He's a really tough player, Carolero. This is what Coach McKeon, he was worried about NC State's pressure. Can they get the ball up the court? He said, once we get it in the front court and get in our offense, I feel good, but we just need to get it up where Austin P really struggled.
They like to put the ball in the hands of Carolero and let him either go to work or distribute. Spin cycle, misses the high arcing shot this time.
Good defense. Burns stayed solid, didn't foul, very smart.
Spin move, Burns. Oh. What a find and a finish.
Wow. NC State's done a great job when guys are with the ball, just cutting to the basket. A great find. Burns really with a beautiful pass.
The Big South Player of the Year last year. He knows all about playing Campbell. Campbell once again running clock deep into this possession. 5 to shoot. This is Sinani. NC State has been much better defensively on the last couple of possessions.
And here's where Campbell gets the ball. They're going to work the ball down to the end. You're going to see cutters. Very patient, very impressive on the offensive end.
Another tough shot.
Yeah,
barely drawed on it.
Last two possessions, they've worked the ball. Just the shots they're getting late in the clock are not good ones.
Oh, another great pass by Burns. Count it! And one.
I'll tell you what, he gets the ball up there. He's got such a good feel for the game. Great pass from Burns.
It's been a good game so far. Wolfpack lead it by 1. Well, as Wayne Gretzky and Michael Scott once said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. For Campbell, they've made 100% of the three-point shots they have taken.
Yeah, they're on fire. The one common factor here is his penetration, and they're finding the open man. Here you see movement. They've got great spacing on the floor, but what they're doing, they're really sharing the basketball on the offensive end.
5 for 5 from the bonus sphere. But it's NC State that leads by a point. And Casey Morcell will go to the line for the old-fashioned three-point play. And we've seen, speaking of sharing the basketball, we've seen DJ Burns. We know what he can do. He was perfect from the floor, speaking of, hot shooting in the opener against Austin Peay. But we've seen him from the post be able to dish it.
Yeah, there's no question. And that's so important when you get the ball in there and you can find cutters. Everyone knows that Burns can score when he gets down low, but it's all the other things he brings to the table that are impressive.
Del Orso picked up his dribble, needs some help. Clemens provides it. Dunn for 3. 6 for 6.
6 for 6. They're on fire. Great shot by Dunn, but a beautiful pass. This kick ahead by Clemens from the backcourt through it about 50 feet. Really, really nice looking pass.
Campbell back in the lead.
Tell you, they're going to see a lot of that when Baby T came off that screen. He was doubled.
And a blocking foul on Dunn. Morcell to shoot 2 more.
Why would you not double Baby T? Get it out of his hands. You don't want him to shoot. He can shoot it anywhere. And that's going to leave a lot of guys at NC State with opportunities to make shots, put the ball on the floor. Because, I'll tell you, if I was coaching, Baby T's not scoring. I'm double teaming him every time. Every time
whatever
he
you can
goes.
Make somebody else beat you.
Absolutely.
Well, last year for NC State, he had, just a freshman, right? But he had so much on his shoulders, was forced to take a lot of shots. And look, he made a lot of shots, but he was forced to take some bad shots, if there even is such a thing, for Baby T, right?
It was tough for him because he had to do so much. And, you mentioned him last year being a freshman. He didn't think he was a freshman. That guy has so much confidence.
The nickname is Baby T, but he's all grown up.
There's no doubt about it.
But that was, obviously, he had an opportunity to go in the NBA draft. A lot of people thought he was going to be a first-round pick. He talked to the scouts, say, what do I need to improve on? And they said, we know you can shoot. We know you're athletic. Can you create some shots for others? Can you distribute? That's what he's looking to do this year. And he's got a little more help this year. He's got a backcourt mate, and this young man right here, Jarkel Joyner, that's going to help a lot.
There's no question about it. But, you got to play all the way around. And, I think Coach Keats has emphasized, listen, everyone knows you can score. You're great defensively. You're solid. The one missing thing, can you make the other 4 guys around you better? And so far, you're going to see that every game. He's going to be conscientious about it.
Sekis got in trouble, almost threw it to Chris Corciani. Instead, it's picked up by Del Orso, and finally a miss for the Camels, and I think the crowd here in PNC Arena realizing it. almost just a sigh of relief seeing a ball not go in. And we have a foul here on Morcell, not a travel.
Yeah, Casey got a little aggressive going in there. He lowers the shoulder a little bit, and good little fake job flopping back, but there was certainly contact there.
Well, as we talked about, Coach McGeehan coming into this game, he was concerned about his team's ability to get into its offense, and this is what we see right here. They have turned it over quite a bit tonight. Outside of those turnovers, though, how have you thought they fared?
Very well offensively. If they can get the ball in the front court, run their offense, they're shooting the ball at a very high clip. It's just in the backcourt where they've struggled.
Well, and right there, in trouble again in the backcourt. Timeout, Campbell. We'll take it with them. If you're a fan of offense, this has been your game so far. Both teams shooting it well. Campbell, that's 57%, 67% for NC State. Andrew Sanders here with Chris Corciani. Jaquavion Smith, the leading scorer in this game by a wide margin. He's already got 15, and we're at the under 4. He's definitely got a chance, Chris. Do you think he's going to lead the ACC in scoring this year?
Without a doubt. You can book that.
Book it, he says.
He's a great player, but he scores in bunches. And for NC State, they need him to score. They're going to put that on his shoulders, and he's going to have to deliver. But he's doing it tonight, on 6 shots, so he's very efficient.
Great defense by Casey Morcell on the perimeter. Now he's got a chance with a corner 3. And that's going to be an interesting shot for Morcell this season, because you have to figure with Joyner and Smith, he's going to get a lot of those open looks. Can he shoot a high percentage?
Yeah, there's no question. Someone will have to step up for NC State, because the time and the shots are going to be there. There's going to be so much attention on Smith and Joyner, but it's got to be a Casey Morcell, or it's got to be a Jack Clark. Those guys are going to get open looks. They're just going to have to knock them down.
Morcell did shoot 35% from deep last year. Easy math. He made 35. He took 100. So if he can improve on that stat from last year.
That's 35%?
Yeah.
That's one I can figure out.
But as you said, whether it's Morcell, it's Clark at the free throw line, if it's beyond pass. And he misses the front end. Rainier able to work it over the timeline. Campbell hasn't gotten into their offense yet. There's 8 seconds left on the shot clock. Clemens able to make something happen late.
Yeah, that was a shame for NC State. They played a full shot clock, really good defense, and then they fouled at the very end. And that's what Campbell makes you do. They're very patient, they're methodical, and NC State right there, good defensive set, but Clemens got hit right into the bucket.
And he rims out the first free throw. We talked about his story, Roosevelt High School as a walk-on. I know Campbell fans, they've heard this before, but for those of you unfamiliar, you might be thinking, wait a second, Clemens, a really good all-conference player at Campbell. He's from the Raleigh area. He's got to be related to Chris Clemens, right? No, not a bit.
No relation, but they both are point guards. That's the one thing they have in common.
He's got 17 as he jumps through the defense and comes to a stop.
That move, you just can't teach that. I mean, that's just a special move. He scores so many different ways. He can shoot the 3, he takes it off the dribble, plays above the rim. I mean, he is a special offensive talent.
17 first half points. We played 18 minutes. Back and forth game puts the Wolfpack up 3. Clark sticking with Carolero, 5 to shoot. And that is just great offensive execution from the Camels.
Very, very smart, very patient. They're not going to get rushed. Last game, Austin Peay, they threw the ball away. Their offense was quick. Campbell's not. They're going to make you play defense for the full shot clock.
Turns the corner, tries to find Ibi Dewana. And he was the Wolfpack starter last year in Manny Bates' absence. He started 27 games.
Yeah, Ibi with a nice finisher. But what was beautiful about that is Baby T took it on the drive. In his mind, he was thinking, what can I do with it? Last year, that might have been a shot. There, a nice assist.
Hussein finds Dunn. And it was same team there. State didn't realize it. They will get the defensive rebound this time. Joyner. Wow, look at him go!
Well, that's what Joyner can do. I mean, he went from one end to the other end in about 2 seconds. Unfortunately, he missed it. Just look at this right here. Boom. One dribble, two dribbles. I mean, he's just, it's what you call very explosive. He was going so fast he couldn't even make the layup.
He split that double team.
Yeah, he's going to be fun. He's real strong. I mean, he's, a transfer from Ole Miss. He's got a bunch of SEC games underneath his belt. But the thing that really stands out to me that NC State hasn't had is a leader, a quarterback, and that's what Joyner's bringing to the table.
Smith threw it away. Clemens intercepts the pass, and they've got numbers. Rainier for three. Got a 1 second differential here, and Joyner's going to slow things down. NC State looks like they'll play for the last possession. And they'll go ahead and use a timeout.
Campbell's in the huddle saying, listen, we're down 3. Let's go to halftime. We're in this ball game. Coach Keats, on the other hand, he's saying, hey, this is what we're going to do. We don't want to shoot the ball too fast. We've got the last possession. At worst, we're going to be up 3 at half. This is all about clock management. A lot of times you see young teams, they shoot the ball early. There's no way that Campbell should get the last shot. Double screen for, yep.
Moksek is sticking with him. Joyner with an offensive rebound, and he's fouled. Maybe not quite what Coach Keats drew up, but it should be a fruitful possession nonetheless.
Well, they set a double screen for him. They had him down low. He popped out. It just drew a lot of attention. Yeah, it's a little deep guarded. That's not the one he wanted, but being in the right place at the right time for Jack Kerr Joyner. Again, we talk about time and possession all the time. It's so valuable at the end of the half. There he shot it too early. They get the ball. There's still 3.8 seconds left on the clock. At worst, you want to take the last shot. They're the kind of things that Coach Keats will watch on video, tell the guys. But it's a young team, that's what they'll learn.
So Joyner hits the pair, full court. Here is Rainier. Lets it go at the horn, but if it goes too strong, tightly contested first half, and NC State will take a 5-point lead into the halftime locker room. Both teams shoot 48% or above. An offensive first half in Raleigh. Hey, we welcome you back to Raleigh alongside Chris Corciani. Andrew Sanders with you here. We're just about set to start the second half between the Wolfpack and the Camels. Jerquavion Smith is the headliner for NC State, and tonight he has not disappointed. How about 17 first half points?
Hey, can't do a whole lot better. 6 to 7. He's also got 3 assists.
And you like to see that. And that's what the NBA scouts want to see as well. NC State has been able to force turnovers, get out, and run.
That's been a very good offensive performance for both NC State, and Campbell has to be pleased as well.
On the other side for the Camels, boy, they have shared the ball well. They've gotten open looks. They started the game 6 of 6 from 3, and especially what you noted, Chris, late in shot clocks, they've been effective in their offense.
Yeah, they've been very, very smart in passing the ball, working the clock, trying to find the open man. They did a really good job of that, especially early in the first half.
Take a look at the first half stats. Now, Campbell missed their last couple of shots in the second half. That really knocked down their percentage. But yeah, both teams shooting it well, as you see. I told you they started 6 for 6. They finished 6 of 9. But offensively, a lot to like for both coaches. But in the halftime locker room, always adjustments to be made. What do you think we'll see here second half?
You know, for Campbell, Coach McGann went in there. They need to limit their turnovers. Early in the game, they turned the ball over. They need to limit those. They also need to find number 0, Jerquavion Smith. May have to double him. He was very hot. 17 first half points. For NC State, they've got to be patient defensively. They got to play for 30 seconds. Understand who you're playing. They're not going to be quick shots. They also have to try to get turnovers and score in transition.
We'll keep an eye out for those keys here in the second half. NC State will start off with the basketball. Joyner playing off ball here. On the catch, looking to attack. Dusan Mahorcic back out there for NC State. He picked up 2 fouls in the first half. We didn't see him towards the end of that half. Speaking of fouls, here's one on Joyner. Carolero, the guilty party.
I tell you, that's the one player Campbell needs on the floor at all times. He's able to guard, defend our big, and they're also really utilize him at the high post, getting their offense going.
Smith will go shoot 2. Yeah, talking of Carolero, it's not quite the Princeton offense that Campbell runs, but it's basically that. It's got a lot of Princeton concepts. As you see, the post players playing outside, obviously sharing the basketball and backdoor cuts. And, you know, Carolero kind of reminiscent of like an Ilian Eftimov for NC State back.
I think that's a great example. Yeah, whenever you bring a big guy away from the basket, all of a sudden everybody's mind says Princeton offense. Really, all it is having the other 4 guys move, their backcourt cutting, but you've got the big guy up top. It really makes it efficient when that guy's able to knock down threes like Ilian Eftimov back in the day.
Well, you want to call it Princeton offense, you want to call it 5 out, whatever your terminology, it requires you to have 5 guys that can pass, dribble, and shoot.
Yeah, everybody's going to get a touch. You know, there's not a lot of pick and rolls unless it's late in the shot clock, but you got a lot of ball movement and a lot of passing, always looking for backdoor cuts.
I asked Coach Keats about, obviously he was concerned about the backdoor cuts and the offense that they would see from Campbell, and rightfully so, right? Campbell showed they can execute their offense in that first 20 minutes, and boy, Ricky Clemens right in the middle of that. Wow. He had 7 points in the first half to go along with 5 assists, and he shows off the spin cycle.
Oh, Clemens with a really strong move. He went full speed, and be able to stop on a dime like that and spin is really impressive.
I looked for a second like they were going to call that clean. Carolero certainly thought so, but he will be whistled for the foul.
You don't understand how hard that boom, stop, spin, and created plenty of space to lay it in. Baby T with a nice look inside. Just a late whistle there, but he did get him on the wrist.
So Carolero with 2 quick fouls. He, along with everyone else on the floor for Campbell right now with 2 personal fouls, as is the man at the line, Mahorcic. But yeah, talking to Coach Keats about the Campbell offense, and I asked him, you know, is that a point of emphasis for you to try to schedule different types of teams that are going to run different things offensively to get your team ready for the season? He said, yeah, absolutely. You know, he said, we might not see anything in the ACC that runs this exact offense, but there are teams that will run some of the similar concepts, and so we want to challenge ourselves against the team that's going to play 5 out.
Right, everybody's goal is to make it to the NCAA tournament. So when you see a Campbell, Princeton type offense, you don't know who you're going to get in the first round. So, you know, this is something that all coaches want to see, a little different here and there. You don't want to see similar offenses because you can get in the tournament and who knows who you're going to draw.
Campbell spacing the floor well. An offensive recycle here. Carolero with the spin.
That was a big time move there by Carolero. He just didn't, he did all the hard work, but he didn't do the easy work when he was up at the rim. Here you see him very patient, the nice quick spin, maybe a little push off, and wasn't able to thunder it home.
They call that foul on Travion Smith. That will be his second foul. So everybody on the floor for Campbell with 2 fouls, Smith and Mahorcic with 2 for NC State.
Hey, Campbell's coming here. They're not backing down. You know, down 4. I remember years ago Campbell came in here. I don't know when that was, Andrew, but Campbell took down NC State, you know, back 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah, I can tell you when that was. It's the only time that NC State has ever lost to a Big South opponent. The Wolfpack 70-1 all time against the Big South as Mahorcic finishes. But that was the one. That was the one. It was all the way back in 1992. Or pardon me, 1993.
It was that long ago, wow.
In Reynolds Coliseum.
My 10 years was wrong. Yeah. There's Joyner. That's what he does. Creates havoc, gets a steal.
And Dunn commits his 3rd foul, fouling a jump shooter. Yeah, I hate to break it to you, but the mid-90s were not 10 years ago. I know sometimes it feels like it's me as well.
I'll tell you, I think I got concussed over the years playing and jumping on the floor for loose balls. So, yeah, my years are all yeah, Joyner got bailed out there. He took a mid-range shot, and one that Coach Keats probably would have liked to see a little bit more passing, especially early in the shot clock.
Of course, I mentioned NC State's dominance against Big South teams all time. Campbell's not going to be a Big South team for that much longer. Starting next season in all sports, moving over to the CAA, the Colonial. That's the home of teams like College of Charleston, who, by the way, is up on Carolina at halftime. Hofstra, Drexel, Elon, NC-A&T, UNCW, Coach Keats' old school. William and Mary, who's on the schedule for NC State later this year.
You don't know who is in what conference. You've got the transfer portal. You don't know at the beginning of the year who's on what team. I mean, it's a different era of college basketball for sure.
It's a lot to keep up with as someone that's trying to cover the sport, I'll tell you.
No, there's no question.
Carolero, offensive rebound in the putback.
I tell you, got to love his game. He just plays so hard on both ends of the court there with the nice putback. Dushan's been very active on the offensive boards early in the second half. He just wasn't able to finish the little bunny down low.
Moksekis takes it hard to the rack for 2 more.
Well, that's a good straight line drive by Moksekis.
Get him a Moksekis. But his nickname is just G.
G.
They just call him G.
I'm going to call him G. I'm going with G.
And a foul before that ball was lost out of bounds. Mahorcic coming out. DJ Burns checking back in for NC State. Burns had a double-double in his Wolfpack debut on Monday. 10 points and 10 rebounds.
You know, that's the luxury Coach Keats has that he didn't have last year. he's got two guys in there with Dushan and Burns that both, they can split minutes. They're both very strong, can play defense. 20 minutes a game. Burns' conditioning is a question mark, but right there, you can see he gets the ball down low. He's going to draw attention. He's also a very good passer, but he's a force to be reckoned when he catches it so low.
We're talking about the depth for NC State, particularly at that position. As I mentioned earlier, we saw Ibi Duwana for just a minute as Clark works hard, but wow, he's going to be called for a push here. And the fans in PNC Arena, not a fan of that call. Didn't look like a whole lot there.
Sure didn't. There's been a lot more contact throughout the game. Clark got one there that he was just being aggressive, going off. It's just a nice aggressive play going for the offensive rebound.
But we saw Ibi Duwana for just a minute there in the first half, and that, Mahorcic had the foul trouble at the time, and Burns needed a breather. But again, he was the starter for NC State last year. No look pass by Del Orso, and he turns it over.
But think about that.
We've got to take a break. We'll talk more about the depth in the post for NC State when we come back. The foul that led to the immediate timeout was Jay Powell's fourth foul, the senior from Omaha, his first year at Campbell, a guy they are very excited about. He led them in both points and rebounds against St. Augs in the opener, 13 points and 8 rebounds, so he is saddled with his fourth foul on the bench. A great story. He spent 1 year at Clarington Junior College, the last 2 years at Jacksonville State. He started 22 games there at Jacksonville State. They were the ASUN champs last year. This is his first year with Campbell, and a very special game for him because his mom is in attendance to watch him play college basketball for the first time tonight.
I'll tell you, a lot of these kids take it for granted. Their parents get a chance to come to games. They also get to see them on TV. But a special moment to have your mom watch your play in a collegiate ball game. It's just a beautiful story.
Yeah, long way from Omaha, but his family actually immigrated from the South Sudan to Omaha before he was born. And at Clarendon Junior College in Jacksonville State, far away from home as well. And so maybe a little extra pressure for him, trying to play a little harder tonight in front of mom for the first time.
You always want to impress your mom, I can tell you that. When my mom was in the stands, I was ready to go. I was excited.
6-point lead for NC State. Del Orso looking to attack baseline. Needs help and found it. Carolero. The deflection from Burns nearly went in. It's 5-on-4 for NC State. Carolero fell into the photographers.
Hey, Campbell only down 6. They're going to run their offense here. They've come in here not just to play. They've come in here to win. It's been a very good showing.
Carolero's open for 3. Splash!
You've got to love his game. There's not a whole lot out there that Carolero does not do, both on the offensive end and defensive end. He's just a fun player to watch.
Well, this has been a different test for NC State. Again, they won by 49 on opening night, but being pushed here by a Campbell team that looks very comfortable the deeper we get in this ball game.
Yeah. I'd say the big fella got going and took an extra step. Tell you what Campbell's doing defensively, they're doubling to Kirby and Smith, and they're backing off Joyner. They're almost kind of wanting those guys to go ahead and shoot. That's where one of these guys has to really step up. It's an opportunity.
Sure.
They have to look at it like, this is a chance.
Sure. As you said, this is not going to be the only time that Terquavion Smith sees a double team this year.
No, I think that was an adjustment made at halftime by Coach McGinn.
We'll see how NC State adjusts. And now it's Arkel Joyner coming off the floor. Passes in as G. Mogsekis hits the deck. I believe in the act of shooting.
Yeah, they're going to give him 2.
Yep, he is going to shoot 2.
What happened there was a pick and roll, and they were indecisive who was going to stay with the ball handler. Those are the things you clean up when you watch tape. Tape is so valuable, especially early in the season. You watch tape, you teach, and hopefully they kind of make the necessary changes.
You know, Chris, it's odd because I told you that Campbell took a lot of free throws in their opener and shot a decent percentage. As well as they've shot it tonight, there's an air ball from Otsekis. They're 3 of 11 as a team from the free throw line. I mean, if they're knocking down their free throws, they've got the lead in this game.
No question about it. You got to make freebies in order to win games. I have a rule that I'd love to see implemented.
Okay.
If you airball a free throw, you should get -1 point. It should be a negative. If you can't hit the rim, -1. See if we can get that passed.
We'll put it on the NCAA Rule Change Committee. What a feed!
That's what you want to see. Kervian, he can beat his man off the dribble, found the open man. That's the play.
And Ernest Ross can sky. Got a whistle away from the ball. Breon pass.
Oh,
we'll take another look at this.
Beats him off the dribble, under control, finds the super athletic Ross for the slam. No, he didn't.
Smith, the game leader with 18 points, but he's also got 5 assists now. Ball is in his hands a ton, and whether he's creating for himself or for others, making good things happen. Sanani got into trouble in the lane. Fans want to walk. Possession arrow stays on this end.
He's had a rough minute with the air ball and then the ball getting stuck up there. That's the kind of thing you can't do that if you were trying to. You did it 100 times.
All right, so an airballed free throw is -1. If it gets wedged between the rim and the backboard, that's got to be like -3.
Yeah, well, that's tough to do. I mean, you got to have talent to be able to do that. Yeah,
Lucane with the dunk.
Just a breakdown defensively. The most important man on the floor, no matter what, is the guy with the ball. There, NC State went to where they thought the ball was going, but always got to know where the ball is.
Flat screen set by pass. And Wolfpack not getting what they want out of that possession. Mahorchic's going to come in, replacing Burns. See the frustration from Smith there.
Yeah, I'm not so sure that Coach Keats was happy with Burns on the defensive end. That may have been a substitution.
Great move by Mahorcic.
I tell you, he's a man down there. When he gets down there and you don't double him, he's just going to keep banging until he gets to the basket. There he gets banged, spins, and makes the bucket.
Smith with a steal as he picks the pocket of Clemens, and then Rainier reaching in. And Terquavion Smith doing it on the offensive end. He can play a little defense too. Timeout. We'll take the under 12. Wolfpack up 5 here in Raleigh. A look around the ACC. And how about that? College of Charleston in Chapel Hill up 2. Duke all over USC upstate. And Florida State trailing by 15 as well. It has not been a good night for the ACC. The Tigers trailing South Carolina as well. But of course, the one that'll get your attention there, Pat Kelsey's College of Charleston up a bucket with about 12 minutes to play.
Yeah, Pat Kelsey does a great job. He was at Winthrop prior to that, just a big-time coach. But, you know, early in the year, these teams are all trying to find their identity. And Carolina struggled in their opener against Wilmington and again tonight. But they've got too much firepower to not get it going.
Both of these teams, as we talked about, with 4 transfers. And I would imagine that early in the season, these guys are still trying to gel, still trying to learn tendencies. And that was one thing that Coach Keats says. He feels like his team is a little ahead. There's a big block by Marcel. Lucane sticking with it, hits the side of the backboard. And now Ernest Ross might try to slow things down. Foul on the 3. Lucane can't believe it. But he said, you know, his team, they're going to play in Atlantis in that big tournament, but they took their international trip also to the Bahamas and got a chance to work on the chemistry a bit.
It's
and he
huge.
says that's been massive.
It's huge, not only on the court, get an opportunity to learn tendencies and get a chance to, learn how people play, but it's also off the court. You learn their names, where they're from, and that's difficult. In the old days, you ended up, you knew your teammates, you knew their tendencies. You were there for 3-4 years. The game has changed, so those early trips are very beneficial for the coaches and the players.
And they're going to go back to the Bahamas and play in the battle for Atlantis. You open up with Kansas. You got Wisconsin or Dayton. It's a loaded field, as it always is in Atlantis. As Morcell makes the first two, he's got one more. And Coach McGeehan's not going to wait any longer. He's going to bring in Powell with those 4 fouls.
Yeah, no, it's right now it's an 8-point game. You've got to have Powell in there, and you've got to get ready to go. But it's nice for a coach to have a couple games early, find out, learn about the team. But then you go to Bahamas, and you have to, you really have to be ready. Those teams you're playing against the big boys there. Playing
in the ballroom. So NC State 55-46. This is the largest lead for the Wolfpack all night. Ricky Clemens, the 5th-year senior, trying to direct the offense for his team. And he gets a great pass by Carolero.
Hey, you said that more than one time tonight. Great pass by Carolero, but again, the pass, the cut, the patience.
He's got 5 assists on the evening. Terquavion Smith left it short, and I think Morcell bowled over Moksekis. That'll be just the second on Morcell. Not a ton of foul trouble for NC State. Nobody with more than 2. Powell on the floor with 4. Devin Dunn has 3 for Campbell.
You see Terquavion take that shot and you go, yeah, it's not a great shot, but he makes them. I mean, that's part of his game. So it's tough. Whether you want him shooting that, it's more time and score, but that's his game. That's what he's capable of doing.
He's been quiet so far in the second half, just 2 points. But he does have 19 for the game. '16 foul for NC State. Ernest Ross here.
He's just a little over-aggressive, and that's where he has to learn. There's no reason. There's no damage done. Let him run up there, play smart. Well, now the next one, they're in the bonus.
18 fouls on the Camels. Just slipped on the floor, and NC State wants to run.
That's a beauty right there. Terquavion Smith with a beautiful dime right to his partner, Jarkel Joyner. That's what you want to see. That's what Keats was thrilled over there.
He's got 6 assists tonight. They've got Powell trapped. And Breon Pass, boy, he had 2 hands on the basketball. He thought he was going to get the tie-up. Instead, the foul comes later, but we'll take another look at this assist.
Get it to your guy. Boom. That's just perfect timing. That pass has to be made at the right time. Here you see a double team. They're in good position. That's one where you want Breon just to stay solid because you got him 40 feet from the basket. No reason to make that foul.
He misses the front end of the 1-and-1. Smith finds Joyner, another assist off the back iron. This is a developing trend for NC State, though I know it's only the second game of the season officially. But Terquavion Smith, he had 7 assists in their scrimmage against Davidson as Carolero steps into a 3. He had 6 in the exhibition that was open to the public against Lees McRae. So this is not the first time this year that he's had 6 assists.
Now you're going to see that. He's going to get a lot of attention. Therefore, he is going to have those opportunities to find the open man.
Breon Pass got up in the air, didn't know where to go. 3-on-1. And that's a quick 5-0 spurt for the Camels. Right back in it, down 4.
Hey, they got it scoring off the turnovers. They're playing sound, solid defense, and they're doing what NC State wants to do, is turn the ball over and go down and score.
Powell just fouled out.
Okay, when Jarkel Joyner turns the corner and he goes full speed, he's tough to stop.
Carolero with the no look.
Joyner turns the corner, goes hard, and gets hammered. You know, that's where you'd want Powell to be a little smarter.
Yeah, you got to just concede that layup.
Hey, you're too valuable to go sit down on the bench. You know, let that one go. You definitely hammered him there.
So by making the second free throw, allows NC State to set up its pressure. And Campbell going to have to play without Jay Powell the rest of the way. Clemens attacking off the bounce. And Mohorčić picks up his third foul. A lot of fouls being called here. That's the 16th on NC State. Campbell 18, so 34 fouls. And we haven't even played 34 minutes.
Yeah, there are a lot of ticky-tack ones. I tell you, Clemens is the type of player. He's only little 6 foot, 6'1", but he plays a lot bigger. He plays like he's 6'6". He went up there against Duchamp. He's fearless. Just went in there and took the action to him. And boy, the free throw woes continue.
Pass will come out. Morcell back in for the Wolfpack. Missed free throws. It's made a huge difference in this game for Campbell, and boy, they continue. 3 of 14.
Wow. So even if you make half of those, you got an even game. Well, that hurts when you're missing free throws, especially on the road.
Ten to shoot. Screen comes. No double this time. And Del Orso can't believe it, but I mean, it is being called very tight on both ends. And that's a bailout for Ross, right? Because he's up in the air, tough shot.
Oh, no question. A very difficult shot. You know, if you're a defender on that, I mean, you don't even want to be anywhere around. He's out of control. His body's flowing all to one side. You don't want to bail him out there.
Ernest Ross, 6 points in 12 minutes in the opener. He's their energy guy off the bench. And he can't make his free throws.
4 straight missed free throws.
This hasn't been the best stretch of basketball for either team here.
No.
Perhaps some early season nerves. And the Wolfpack turn it over.
I tell you, that was a walk-on years ago. Clemens getting on the floor, hustling for the loose ball. That's why he's a starting point guard and on scholarship.
Three ball. Mogsekis buries it.
G with a nice 3 there. Clemens finds him again. Penetration by Calero. And then Clemens finds the open man.
And a big block down there. Del Orso stepped on the baseline. And that'll take us to the under 8 timeout. Just a 2-point game. Campbell shooting it well from downtown. How about 9 of 14 on the evening? Andrew Sanders here with NC State legend Chris Corciani. There's the jersey in the rafters. And here he is courtside.
I was lucky to play with the guy that was next to me in the rafters, Rodney Monroe.
Yeah.
One of the best players ever to play at NC State.
NC State legend, but hold on, who's this in the Campbell t-shirt?
Oh, you guys shouldn't have done that. I don't know who that is.
What does that say, staff?
Looks like I got a mullet or something in the back there. I'm not sure. I used to go down to Campbell's basketball camp, and they'd always have college players go down there, and it was really fun to go down there. Rick Fox, Robert Bricky, and just a good time.
Wow, big bucket there by Casey Morcell. It's a pretty good basketball camp.
Oh, yeah.
Teach everybody how to
we'd go down
share
there
the sugar,
and talk.
as you say.
They'd share the sugar. Yeah, they'd have over 900 kids down there for their basketball camp. It was a real big deal.
Just a 2-point game at the under-8 timeout. NC State with the bucket. Del Orso with an answer.
I tell you, he's a good shooter. They're real high on him. They think that his ceiling is really up there. He's just raw.
Well, it's just his second collegiate game. And we've got a whistle here. And they're going to call Devin Dunn, and I believe that's his fourth. It is.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of free throws here.
Double bonus the rest of the way for the Wolfpack. Yep. See, he just kind of grabs Mahorcic trying to get around that screen.
That's the kind of call that just slows the game down. I mean, like, nothing was, there was no contact on the ball, away from the ball. I'm with Dunn on that. You know, I think that's one they need to play on.
We talked about Campbell struggling to shoot free throws, 3 of 14. NC State's missed double-digit free throws. 16 of 27 are the Wolfpack. Mahorcic able to split the pair. He was a 75% shooter last year at Utah. Yeah, I certainly understand. Look, it's early in the season, and the officials, they're trying to get their work done early as well. If you set the standard early, particularly with the new flopping rule, right, you want to discourage some of the play later on in the year. But we have seen a ton of fouls on both sides.
There's no doubt.
NC State with a chance to run. Smith is open. And if that's done, that's his fifth. He was the closest Campbell to the ball, and he is the second Campbell player to foul out. So 2 impact transfers now gone for the Camels. We saw Powell just a couple of minutes ago, and Devin Dunn hanging his head as he makes his way over towards the Campbell bench.
I tell you, they're both fouling out early. There's 5:39 left. That really depletes the bench for Coach McGinn and the Campbell staff.
For the Camels, obviously just a 3-point game. Got a chance here on the road to get what would be a massive win. This is the 13th meeting all time. As you mentioned, Campbell, only one win. It was back in 1993 against the Wolfpack. So 2 players shorthanded now, and Clark sinks a free throw. So with those 2 guys out, you have to think that the burden falls even more on Clemens, although even more on Carolero, right?
Yeah, there's no question. Everything runs through Carolero anyway, both, on the offensive end. He's capable of doing so many different things. Handles the ball, he can pound it, and he's a great passer.
Able to work it into the front court on the inbounds pass and then hand off to Del Orso, who's handling the ball quite a bit here.
Yeah, they're going to be patient. They're going to run the clock. They're going to look for an easy one.
Oh, Carolero shuffled his feet. Whips it across. Moksekis looking to attack. Morcell D'd him up beautifully.
Beautiful look-ahead pass. Clark with a great defensive play. Keeps his head up and finds the streaky joiner.
Now Campbell looking to go quickly. Morcell with his 3rd foul.
Just a nice play. Good defensive play. I tell you, it just seems Joyner's always ahead of the ball, which is really smart. Just a smart player.
The free throw troubles for Campbell tonight. Clemens had been just 2 of 6 before that free throw, and there is a chicken promotion if you miss 2 free throws. So that's why the crowd is so engaged here as he makes the pair.
The crowd's probably aware that they shot so poorly early on.
Yeah.
They're like, we've got a chance tonight.
15 points, 8 assists, 5 rebounds for Clemens. He is stuffing the stat sheet. Clark straight on. Not close.
I'll tell you, the halftime adjustment that Campbell's made on Jacoby Smith, when he comes off the pick and roll, he's got nowhere to go. They're double team.
Yeah, they're going to force him to get it out of his hands.
And he made the right play, throwing it to Clark, and Clark wasn't able to knock it down.
So if you're NC State, how do you adjust to that?
Well, you got to somehow get to Kirby in the ball, coming off the screen, maybe down low. The pick and roll is easy to defend if you're just double teaming. You can take the ball out. A lot of people are going to do that. They're not going to let Kirby beat you. And again, he makes the right play. Just need to figure a way to score in the open court. There's so many ways that Smith can score.
That's the 4th foul on Dusan Mahorcic, and he commits it 40 feet from the basket. Lucane, a 61% free throw shooter a year ago. Doesn't even touch the rim with the first one. Didn't get the start tonight, although he started 31 in his Campbell career. The senior from Georgia.
And I can't say enough of Campbell coming here to Raleigh. They didn't come just to play. I mean, it's a 4-point game. They hear about the ACC, and they're only 20 miles away. For them to kind of come here and put on this type of performance is something to be said for the coaching staff of Campbell.
Yeah, I think really impressive when you think about, too, they opened up their season against Division II St. Augs, and nothing against St. Augs, but this is a huge step up, in level of competition and in level of crowd as well, right?
Yeah, there's no question. That's Chucky Brown. The old Chucky Brown, my teammate, is the head coach of St. Aug, but that's who Campbell beat in their opener by close to 20.
I've had the privilege of calling a few games with Chucky Brown. Great guy.
Chucky's the best. Great player, but even better person.
We go under 4 minutes to play. Rainier runs into Joyner and runs out of room. Turnover. It's a 3-point game. We'll be back in a moment. Last year, Jesus Carolero was the only player in the Big South to be top 10 in rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks. He can do it all for Campbell, and he's shown that tonight as he is nearing a triple-double, filling up the stat sheet.
Great player. He does it all on the offensive end, and the defensive end, he's tough as nails.
His Camels trail by just 3 at the under 4 timeout.
I tell you, NC State right here looks like they're really trying to go into DJ Burns.
Morcell with a step back 3, too strong, and the Camels rip down the rebound. NC State playing DJ Burns at the 5 now. Mahorcic with those 4 fouls. Scoop to the hoop, won't go for the freshman Del Orso. Under 3 to play. Who's going to step up for the Wolfpack? Smith's been quiet here in the second half. It's Joyner. Follows his shot and what a finish.
You don't see that often. He missed his shot, hustled, stayed with it, and was able to put it back in. You don't see that often.
Jarkel Joyner with 13 points. He had 18 on Monday. Carolero drops it off for Lucane, couldn't handle it, and a crucial turnover. Well, they say always follow your shot.
No question about it. It's just a great play, but he's a veteran, and he's played in a lot of ball games. And you need players to make big plays when you're down to 2 minutes.
Talked about how good Campbell was defensively, best defensive team in the Big South last year as they forced a turnover. Smith's cross-court pass picked off. It was deflected. NC State nearing that 70-point plateau that only 7 teams reached against the Camels last year, but it's the defense is how they've stayed in it, and offensively knocking down the triples. Clemens with a catch and a shoot. And he banks it in from the corner.
That's had no angle. He's laughing. I don't know how in the world that went off the backboard. It's almost impossible to do.
Timeout, NC State. Clemens banks in this 3. 2-point game. Campbell within 2 after a banked-in 3-pointer by Clemens. But, hey, it's been that kind of a night, right? 10 of 16 from 3. Everything has been falling for the Camels. They've been playing pretty good defense, and they've got a shot here down the stretch in the last 90 seconds.
Yeah, no doubt about it. They came into here and really executed their game plan, and now they're down 2 with 1:30 left.
Well, big possession here for Joyner and NC State. Tough step back jumper. That is money.
That's his game, Andrew. That mid-range game is where he is best.
You always have to find out on any team who's going to be the guy to take the big shots. Now, we know Terquavion Smith can take it, but Jarkel Joyner's showing, hey, I can do that too.
He can create space. You see him on that drive. Just kind of gets in, pops back out. He's real strong. Veteran leader. I mean, this is what he came here for, tight games.
First half pretty quiet. As we said, the emphasis defensively for Campbell has switched on Terquavion Smith. They tried to take away his offense. Joyner has stepped up. And that's why a lot of people think this NC State team can be much improved this season because of the backcourt.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. When you have a backcourt with guys like Jarkel Joyner and Terquavion Smith, you're going to be in a lot of games. And I was a point guard. I love guards, so maybe I'm a little biased. But when you have 2 good guards, you're always going to be able to compete. You're going to be in games. And these 2 are as good as any 2 in the ACC.
So NC State using its timeout here. Both teams with 2 timeouts remaining. Both teams in the bonus. Possession arrow favoring NC State. As we have 80 seconds to play. Now, if you're Campbell, that's a big bucket for the Wolfpack, but you're only down 4 here.
Yeah, you want to be smart. Carrolero's got to be involved at some point in the offense. Whether that's backing his man down or looking for a cutter, but the ball for Campbell must go through Carrolero on this next possession.
Yeah, that's when they've been at their best, really, when he's at the top of the key and he's deciding whether he's going to knock down the open jumper, take his man off the bounce, or dish it.
That's where he's best. For NC State, they need to be smart. They need to be patient. Campbell's not going to panic here. They're going to run their offense. NC State, Coach Keats said, listen, let's play 1 full possession of D, and we might be able to take this one home.
Wolfpack looking for a stop. It is Carrolero, and he dragged his pivot foot.
He sure did.
Well, that's the stop they were looking for. And here, defense for offense. They're going to get Burns back in for an offensive possession.
Now here you see Campbell's going to apply a little bit of pressure, try to get a steal on the backcourt. Too early to foul. They're going to just play solid defense.
Under a minute to go. Joyner going to run some clock here. Well, not that much clock. Burns stepped in to set the screen, and that's an offensive foul and a big turnover the other way.
Yeah, here's the thing on this play. You've got to, I'll tell you what, he looked like he was set. I don't know if we can see that again, but boy, he looked like he was set.
So the sub burns out. Mahorcic again with those 4 fouls into play defense. They run a pick for Del Orso, and the freshman finishes. Just his second collegiate game, and how about that? They put the ball in his hands, and he goes right around the screen and makes it.
Now this freshman, he just takes it downhill, strong move. He doesn't think he's a freshman. He's played in a lot of games overseas.
Yeah, Anthony Del Orso, I told you he's from Melbourne. He averaged 30 points last year as a high school senior, but he played a lot for the national team, played for the Victoria U20 state team, and so he's got some international experience.
The European players, when they come over here, they're not, it's not like they're coming right out of high school. They've played against men in their European leagues. So a guy like Del Orso, he is up for this moment.
10-team Big South preseason poll. Again, Campbell, this is their last year in the Big South, trying to make some noise. 2019 champions. Would have been the champs a couple of years ago if not for DJ Burns probably in Winthrop.
Yeah, Burns had a great career and good pickup by NC State. You're going to see Campbell here now with pressure. Now there's 45 seconds left. They don't foul. They're not going to foul. They may double team, try to create something in the backcourt. But if NC State gets it in the front court, they're going to play sound, solid defense because they'll have at least 15, 20 seconds if NC State doesn't score here.
Joyner, another mid-range jumper. Oh! Knocks it down!
Mid-range ice. I tell you what, that's his game. Strong, smart, knocking it down, putting the Wolfpack on Joyner's back. He's quick with the ball, crossover, pull up. He's hit a couple big shots here, leading the pack late in the game.
Welcome to Raleigh, Jarkel Joyner. Wolfpack fans just getting introduced to him. And I think Pack fans right now saying, wow, we got a veteran point guard that can go and do that.
Yeah, his first 2 games have been very impressive, 17 points. He's one of those guys that does it all. Whatever you need. If you need a defensive stop, he can do that. If you need him to run the offense, he can do that. And as you're seeing late in the game, you need a guy to stand up and take the game to victory. He's doing that as well.
2 big buckets. Trying to keep Campbell at arm's length, but the Camels refusing to go away.
Now they've got to hustle up with 30 seconds to go. They need to get right in their offense, try to get a quick shot.
Del Orso, Mogsekis for 3. And the Camels forced to foul. And on a night where, again, the 3-ball has dropped consistently, had been 10 of 16, that's the biggest miss.
Again, a nice play, nice execution. They just weren't able to knock down the 3-ball. But I'll tell you, Campbell's been impressive. They've come in here, they made some halftime adjustments, and nothing to be ashamed. Coach McGeehan and his staff and the Campbell players have really played tough all night.
Free throws have been an issue on both sides. Jack Clark, the grad student from LaSalle, Cheltenham, Pennsylvania. 80% free throw shooter last year for the Explorers.
Got a beautiful stroke. You're going to see NC State apply pressure with only 18 seconds. They don't want Campbell to get anything quick.
Trying to slow up Del Orso a little bit. Hussein comes and sets the screen. And Mohorcic knocks it out of bounds.
With 10 seconds left, down 6, they've got to try to get 2 threes. And so NC State's going to really play very tight on the perimeter.
Got to get the ball in, and he throws it away. Last touch by Jack Clark. Lucane with a desperation three. That comes up short. And NC State improves to 2-0 with a 6-point win over the Campbell Camels. It was a hard-fought game. When it came down to crunch time, Jarkel Joyner made the plays.
Yeah, there's no question. The grad senior in his second game with an NC State uniform came up big late, and the Wolfpack needed it.
The Wolfpack take it 73-67. And yeah, Joyner, the star in the second half after Terquavion Smith scored 17 in the first half. He was the primary focus. Joyner stepped up. And the Wolfpack, this game gave them everything that they wanted. Certainly a test against that Campbell offense, but NC State will celebrate the victory. An in-state rivalry matchup. Jarkel Joyner, the star. For our great crew here in Raleigh, my partner Chris Corciani, my name is Andrew Sanders. Good night from Raleigh.